All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Terence Crawford might actually be getting the Manny Pacquiao fight because, according to some sources that I spoke with, angel investors are looking for Manny Pacquiao's $40 million because they see a huge opportunity in this fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. Love this conversation. Terence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao, a fight that really should have taken place, I don't know, 6 years ago, something like that, a very long time ago, when Terence Crawford originally wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao. They were both at Top Rank. However, Bob Arum stood in the way of that fight because in his own words, he says, we knew what the outcome of that fight was going to be. We really didn't, but it would have been nice to see it anyway. However, that decision by Bob Arum has pretty much been an anchor wrapped around the ankles of Terence Crawford, keeping him submerged below the level of superstardom. That is what my impression of the career of Terence Crawford. I truly believe that if Terence Crawford was not represented by Bob Arum, that his career would have been, it's been spectacular in a generic sense, right? And by a generic sense, I mean, you can say, okay, you won this title, you won this title, you are undisputed champion, you're going to be a Hall of Famer, you're the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. All of those things very true about Terence Crawford. But the thing is that when you look at this man's bank account, compared to what like a Manny Pacquiao's bank account might look like, or a Errol Spence Jr.'s bank account is probably looking like, definitely what Canelo Alvarez's bank account is looking like, no, he's not reached that level, right? And that is, I believe, because Bob Arum orchestrated it that way, because he wants Terence Crawford to be his workhorse. He wants Vasily Lomachenko in the past, but now Teofimo Lopez, Monster Inoue, those guys to be the superstars and not him. So when I heard in the news that Manny Pacquiao says he wants $40 million to fight Terence Crawford, my first thought is Bob Arum ain't got that much money. How's he going to do it? Bob does not have that type of money, right? Not $40 million to put in on that, especially when he has no pay-per-view vehicle, right? Also, you have the PBC and Top Rank working together on that fight. So the PBC is going to have to get a cut. Bob Arum's going to have to get a cut. So it just seems like it was really unlikely, right? However, I remembered that I had spoke to people. There are actually a lot of people that do not make the newspapers that really do make bids on fights, asked to try to make fights, but because the fighters are locked in by the contracts of the promoter, they're not able to get in. And some of these people are actually willing to get in at a loss because they are saying, look, if I have $500 million and I want to build my business, hey, I might spend $200 million and take a loss just so that I can build my brand, right? You see that happening with DAZN in the contracts that they gave to Canelo Alvarez, the contracts they give to Gennady Golovkin, right? Those $30, $40 million paydays that are not connected in any way whatsoever with actual revenue coming in the door. That is what DAZN has done. They said, we're going to operate at a loss. That is also a standard business model that you see in companies like Uber. It was years before Uber made any money because they have these very, very rich investment bankers or, trust funds and people that are saying, hey, man, I got a lot of money and I want to make some, right? So say you got somebody that might be worth $5-6 billion, right? And they have assets and, and organizations whose revenue might run into the trillions, right? and they say, hey, what else can we get into, right? Sports is a wonderful way to market products, right? It is absolutely, because there's so many people that are into it. People get emotion with it. And while they're emotional, while they're really drawn in, boom, you hit them with your logo, right? Boom, you hit them with your logo. And then they're like, hey, okay, cool. Now people are recognizing my name, right? Take, for example, DAZN. I know I mentioned him before. I'm mentioning him again, right? DAZN, everybody in the boxing world now knows of DAZN. DAZN's product, I do believe, has steadily gotten better. I'm not sure if they're going to get over that threshold that is necessary to get over in order to be, like the man in the United States. But you see their business model and you understand that people are willing to do that. So when I reached out to someone, and I mind you, these are people that were telling me about Mike Tyson fighting Tyson Fury well before the offers were sent, and Tyson Fury was like, you're not giving me enough money. I don't like that, right? Well, those were people that I was familiar with that sent that offer to Tyson Fury. So I'm not speaking of the exact same people that spent that, and because I don't want anybody to try to connect any dots here. There ain't no need in trying to connect dots, because these are inside sources in the financial industry that, they want to invest their money in, and a lot of times they want to be kind of quiet about it. However, they see the value. My understanding is that they see the value in Terence Crawford as a big name in the Midwest, and they also see Manny Pacquiao because that's where they're from, right? The Chicago, Kansas City, St. Louis, that's where they invest their money, right? Generally speaking, but are very well, in my understanding, is they're willing to actually branch out. So, but what is the hurdles to this, right? So now I didn't talk to them. I talked to the guy that was, that really is making the decisions. I talked to the people that talked to the people that talked to him. And my understanding was that they were like, look, we'll take the loss. We'll take the loss. But the only problem is that they understand that Bob Arum is not amenable to those type of deals, right? Bob Arum, my understanding is, this is just my understanding, would much rather have, Terence Crawford just be a workhorse for him, or demand that Terence Crawford buy himself out of that contract. But with the money that these people are talking about, and, they'll reach out to the people that they need to reach out to, I assume, or more than likely they already have, and this is information that might spring up in about 3 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, right? Because what is this? This is February 17th, so my understanding is that they have time. They've got some other things that they're looking at, but this is just one group of people, right? So again, man, when angel investors like the billionaire with DAZN say, hey, man, I like Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is big in the Midwest, where there's a bunch of trains going up and down there, right? You'd be very surprised how much, how lucrative business is in the middle portion of the United States. But it'll be interesting to see. Now, and I hope it comes to fruition. If you gave me my percentage chance on whether it's going to work out, I would say, man, maybe, give it 30%. Give it 30% because of the Bob Arum hurdle. But if there wasn't the Bob Arum hurdle, it would be just like the situation with Manny Pacquiao, right? Where Manny Pacquiao jumped out, when he's with Top Rank towards the end of his career, he can't really make anything happen. He's fighting on regular ESPN, things like that, right? But boom, he leaves Bob Arum and he's back on pay-per-view 2 fights later. Now this is being the third. He's looking for $40 million, right? Which, by the way, is twice the price he was asking for fighting Terence Crawford 6 years ago. So, we'll see what happens. I'm optimistic, right? And I'm hoping that maybe that Terence Crawford might have got wind of this, and that's why he's saying, no, I'm not interested in I'm not asking for the Deontay Wilder fight. Well, shoot, if you got somebody backing you, some angel investor backing you that is willing to put the money up for the fight, it, and you just need to buy your way out of the contract. Or maybe that's what he's thinking. I don't know. This is me just, like I said, people call me. I call people trying to figure out what's going on. I really don't like to get behind the scenes too much. But, with this particular instance, I am so caught in between Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao that I was like, man, let me look into this. So, like I said, give it about a 30% chance. If it doesn't hit the mainstream news, that's more than likely because Bob Arum killed it before it got anywhere near there. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my take on the situation. You let me know yours. And with that, I'm out. Peace.